Hi Scorpio, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subber, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the week ahead has in store for you. So you've got the Judgment card, which actually is the card that is associated to your ruler. This card rules, or Pluto rules this card. Your Judgment card is always a blast from the past, but it's also the reveal to you of something that needs to be purged. Judgment is where the final trumpets sound, right? And as a destiny card, this could be where somebody that you never expected to hear from, you know, everything right now is happening online. You could hear from somebody, you could get a message from them, you could find yourself glancing over the past at this moment in time, you know, in a really big way. The Judgment card as a destiny card as well is also saying to you, now is the time that you really need to purge. Now is the time that you really need to go within and start shaking things loose. It's really interesting. If you haven't seen it, please check out the weekly general, because I feel like it will be really relevant to you guys more than anybody else. And your Judgment card is basically saying there are big changes on the horizon for you. And I actually feel like this Judgment card is speaking to what happens after this whole crisis is kind of over. If I'm completely honest with you, I feel like this Judgment card is basically for you guys. It's really kind of saying to you, nothing is going to be the same again. You already understand death, destruction, panic, disaster, all of those things better than most signs, and you're more equipped to deal with it. However, the Judgment card is saying to you that there are some things that really need to be laid to rest now. This is about your personal past. It's about you delving into that personal past and releasing the stuff that comes up, but on a really on a much bigger level, this is about really preparing yourself for the big changes that are to come. There is a lot of movement that's going to take place for you guys, and I mean, this card is packed full of stuff at this moment for you, so I've just kind of tried to give you, you know, a condensed version of each thing. For your direction card, you've got the Devil card. Okay, so this could be an old addiction, it could be an old cycle, an old pattern. For some of you, this might be an old, maybe you'll observe something about yourself in relationships, in love, in your emotions, in the way that you behave towards people. There's something about yourself that is coming under scrutiny. Now, one thing that I need to make absolutely clear to you, this is not a time for you to berate yourself. It's not a time for you to upset yourself. It's not a time for you to be hard on yourself. It's a time for you to allow whatever bubbles up to the surface to be acknowledged, and then to allow it to be released. This is a time for you to really do this work. And it's not so much about what comes up, it's more about what you let go, right? It's more about the process of letting it go that is important here. This could be a very old hurt. It could be a very old wound that you are, and this is the thing, you know, our feelings, how we feel about things, what we hold on to, our feelings can be the most addictive thing in this world, right? And throughout life, one of the most addictive things that we can hold on to in life is our feelings. And this week, I really feel like this is going to be highlighted to you. Now, I've already talked a lot about Scorpio and how you guys process emotion. And I always say, right, you know, you guys feel so deeply that at some point it just becomes numb because it's easier for your sanity. This is a moment though for you to let those things go, and some of it may very well it may bring tears. You know, both of these cards are cards of deep rooted things. And this week, if you find yourself feeling tearful, if you find yourself feeling emotional, if you find yourself remembering stuff that you said to somebody 10 years ago that you didn't feel was very nice, let it go. If you find, you know, that you're obsessing or going over something that somebody did to you 10, 15 years ago, let it go. This is a week, it's a week where a lot of stuff is going to really be drawn up to the surface but can then ultimately be released, right? Interestingly enough as well, the full moon that's taking place on the 7th in the sign of Libra, especially if you're on an ascendant Scorpio, is in your 12th house, right? So this is that time, whatever your past is, whatever the things, the wounds, the identity that you are in some way, shape or form addicted to, it's time to let that stuff go. Fuck me. And the card that has jumped out for your insight card is the Devil card, right? Whatever your addictions are, whatever your repetitive negative cycles are, this is a week for you to release them and to let them go. I actually feel like we're going to see a lot of Scorpios ascend this week. I mean, for me, when I look at that card, what it says is Phoenix out of the ashes, even though this isn't the card for Scorpio. Judgment does rule your planet, right? Look at this, you've got a double hit of this Devil card. This for me, it really does say that. It really says this is the week for you to, I feel like a lot of Scorpios this week, whether you're sun, moon or rising, you are going to ascend in some way this week, right? And I've always said that Scorpios come into this world enlightened because they carry so, there's no way you could carry so much darkness and not be immune to it, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm not saying it right, but I'm sure you get what I mean. This is the week for you to ascend, right? And the only way that you are going to be able to do that is by truly letting it go. The only way that you can ever truly let it go is to understand what it is that took you there in the first place, and understand that letting it go, that whole, and I can't say it enough because that is the important part here. What it is, what it wasn't, what they were, what they weren't, what they did to you, what you did to them, none of that is important. The important stuff, the important part of this process is that you release it. Once you do so, you are going to soar, you are going to fly. I feel like I'm going to check in with all of my Scorpio people this week and just keep a close eye on you guys. Not because I see anything catastrophic here, but just because I feel like you guys are going to be going through not only the stuff for the collective, but also for yourself at a really deep level. And obviously around the full moon, you could be really feeling this a lot, okay? With that said, I send you so much love. Please, please, please never forget there is an entire community of people here. Please reach out to each other in the comments. If you've got something to run by me, chuck me an email. You'd be surprised how many I get, which is why sometimes it takes me so long to reply. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care. I send you so much love, and I will see you soon.